Texas blue, Bowie County strong and true. We rise up when the call is made. Patriots born, Patriots stay.
All right, so Paul used to be our SREC. I asked him to step down. No, I didn't. I love you. So this is a funny story. I had Paul scheduled for like the first Tuesday of the month, and then somebody called me and said, "Hey, I can make it." And I said, "Paul, can you do next week?" He said, "Sure." And then the next week, somebody called me and said, "Hey, I can make it." So I said, "Paul, can you come next week?" He goes, "Sure." And then the third week, someone said, "Hey, I can make it." And so I said, "Paul, can you come back anyway another week?" He said, "Sure." And so on the fourth week, the announcement that went out said, "Paul Hale is our speaker tonight. If Donald Trump himself shows up and wants to speak, he has to wait till Paul finishes." Paul has been a good friend to the Patriots. He's been a good friend to Bowie County, even though he comes from Cass. That's okay. He's redeemed himself, and he did an awesome job as our SREC, State Public Executive Committee man for our Senate district. So I'm proud to introduce my friend Paul Hale, who's going to introduce our guest. Give him Hale.
Sir. Hale again.
Saw it coming.
It's good to be here tonight. Always good to see my Bowie County Patriots. Y'all are one of my favorite lunches. Several years ago, I heard of him. He's kind of famous too. I used to work daylight to dark in the logging business, and I heard about this guy that was fighting for our water rights. I didn't understand all of it. I've learned a lot about it since then, and when I got to know him later. But let me read you his short bio that he gave me, and I got a couple other things to say. His name is Jack Harmon. He goes by Fuzzy. This is the reason they call him Fuzzy. He's almost 69 years old. He is the current precinct chairman of Precinct 14 in Harrison County, Republican Party. He is a lifelong conservative. He does not believe that more government, taxes, fees, and regulations is the answer to problems. And he put this in there, this was important for y'all to know, he is not one of the Kool-Aid drinkers. He helped defeat 4 of 20 groundwater districts statewide that had been defeated at the time of formation by the voters for approval or disapproval. Those 4 are part of 6 that were defeated in East Texas since 2000. They are Harrison County in 2010, Shelby County in 2013, Sabine County in 2013, San Augustine County in 2013. He's a realtor since 1978 and a real estate broker since 1980. And both his parents were real estate brokers since 1966. And he is an oil and gas landman. That's him. That's not Billy Bob Thornton, that's him on that show. He's an oil and gas landman since 1983 for ExxonMobil, Chevron, and other oil and natural gas companies as a contract landman. And he is not a lawyer. That was important for everybody. But yeah, I met him a few years ago, and we started hanging out while I was campaigning for SREC. And we just kept hanging out after I won SREC, and we became we went from just kind of good friends to very good friends. And he was, I've been my biggest supporter in SREC, and I appreciate it very much. And before I turn it over to him, I want to publicly thank Adam Huggins at the convention. He was there supporting my appointee to the Rules Committee, Craig McCarty. And Craig McCarty done us a good job. We preserved Rule 44. We had a fight on our hands there, and we were almost split in that committee. And I testified every single time that I had the opportunity to testify in there. And we had quite a few good people on there. But Adam was there. He had some written input, and he had some input to Craig, and we encouraged and backed Craig while he was there. And I just wanted to thank him for that. And I thank everybody else that came to the convention. And Steve for always doing a good job at what he does there. Good to be here tonight. Without any further ado, for my friend, my very good friend, Buzzy Harmon. Give him a hand.
Y'all hand out these pens, if anybody don't have pens.
Raise your hand if you need any, man.
You can make notes, I want you to make notes. And, I don't want you to believe a thing I say. Okay? Not one thing. I want you to check it out for yourself. And what I'm gonna give you is code and section numbers to everything that I say, and I can back up everything that I do say in the way I say it. And I'm not blowing smoke, okay? I'm actually telling you what I said, okay? But I want you to look it up yourself, and I want you to hold me accountable. If I make one mistake, you hold my feet to the fire, okay? And I'm gonna give you out my phone number. And any of you that wants a copy of my speech notes or wants anything from me, you text me your email and I will send you the speech notes or anything that you want. Okay? So here's my phone number. Y'all got a pen to write? So don't call me, just text me. 903 926 36 10. And I tell everybody that when you get 36, you wish you were 10 again. Maybe you can do things right next time. You won't make some of the mistakes you made. Because I made plenty when I was young and stupid. Okay, what this is, a groundwater district is forming a police force over water wells. It has nothing to do with surface water. Okay? And so it's water well production and owning a water well, drilling water wells if you were in the water well drilling business. Okay, that was the profession you were in. But a lot of people are owning groundwater for their source that they drink of in rural areas, especially in some small towns. And they're owning it indirectly, you know, they're not operating the water well, but that's what they're drinking. Okay, so that's what this is about. It is not lake water, it is not river water, it's not water in a creek, it's underground water that comes up through a waterway. Doesn't have anything to do with the spring. Can you hold the questions to the end? But what do you want?
Well, that was my first question. Can we ask questions? So I'll wait.
Okay, if you would. Okay, and I invite all the questions at the end. And I do hope I hear from some of you that says, email me this or whatever, okay? Now, the way that you form a district is you start out with 50 signatures, okay, like in a single county. And you call for an election. And then the state rep and the state senator for your area gets that done at the legislature. And then they tell you if you're wanting one. And I don't know why anybody would want one, but they really knew what they did, you know, what they couldn't do and what they actually can do to you. Okay, they tell you what election date that you can have your election on. We had ours in Harrison County in 2010 on May the 8th. Okay, that means that the legislature met in 2009 and they created a half-page bill, and it was Senate Bill 726, and our state senator at the time was Kevin Elti, or however you pronounce his name, out of Tyler, and our state rep was Brian Hughes at the time. And they got that done for us, a little half-page deal, and we had our election, and it failed. And we had a Democrat county judge at the time, and I'm not favorable at all with Democrats, okay? And make no bones about it, okay? And he actually hired the vote getters that go around to the nursing home and cemetery to try to pass it. And that's how bad he wanted it. And I think he wanted to be the groundwater district's lawyer. And that was gonna be his golden parachute plan. It didn't have anything to do with the water. Okay? The part that deals with creating a district starts in 36.011. And this is the Texas Water Code. This is not the property code, this is the water code. and it ends in 36.021. I hope y'all are writing.
Well, repeat it again real slow.
36.
Okay. To create a district, it's 36.011. And I'm gonna tell you in a second why I'm making a big deal about this. And it stops in 36.021. Now, the reason I'm making a big deal about this is the people that promote it think that we're just gonna have it. And the public is not gonna vote on it. And they've actually said that, and it's been scrubbed where it came out in the paper. And I've got one county commissioner that I do like. I have a whole lot I don't like. Okay, I'll give you a long list of people I don't like that are elected. And he's in another county, he's not in my county. And he says they're planning this to do it where the people don't get to vote on it. Now, when you think about that, that's like the school board, the 7 school board members getting to vote between 7 school board members that we're gonna pass a bond issue between the 7 school board members, but everybody's gonna pay for it. And a simple 4-3 vote would pass the school bond election, okay? Now, I don't think any of us would go along with that crap, okay? I wouldn't. And that's what they're trying to do here, okay? And they know my name's Mud, okay, really, when you get right down to it, or worse, or something else that starts with a bad word, okay? They know that I have the ability to rip one of these things to pieces. And when I say rip one to pieces, I went down and talked to people in Shelby County how to beat theirs at the center. And you can dream up about the worst you've ever heard of anything beat before at the polls. And you can throw out any number, but you're not likely to get anywhere close to how bad they beat it. With the county judge and the 4 commissioners on the 4 side, and me coming from 3 counties away, almost 4, and making one speech and teaching those people how to vote and how to politic and how to get it done, it was defeated 95.5% against and 4.5% for. And then they threw their county judge and their commissioners out the following election.
Yay. That's not the.
Now that's high road with the politics. Throw everybody out. And that's pretty tough, it's pretty cold. You can call it what it is, but that's my reputation. And that's how bad they beat it. There's been a lot beat 90-10, okay? I helped Fred over here beat a school district bond in DCAP.
Yeah,
And what was that, 6-8 years ago?
yeah, about 8
And they beat it 90-10.
and 10, yeah.
Okay, I think they were a little bit adrift and a little bit lost when I got there, and I taught them how to do that. Now, they had to do the work themselves, but they took the formula and got it done. Okay, another thing the people that promote it says that it's gonna be locally controlled, okay? Locally controlled. This is a big deal. Well, it won't be locally controlled, okay? There's a thing called joint planning management of the whole GMA. And I've handed you out maps tonight. And part of the Bowie County that y'all live in, and I'm just talking about y'all, I suppose most of you live in Bowie or Cass or Red River, since this is where we are. Part of it is in GMA 8, the north part, and the south part of it's in GMA 11, okay? Well, in GMA 11, where I live, in Harrison County, you've got Russ County, Panola County, they each have a single district per their county. You got Angelina and Nacogdoches, they have one, and then you have Henderson, Anderson, and Cherokee, then they've got a 3-county, okay? The majority of them, about what you do and how you do it and whatever you do and however you run a groundwater area, a groundwater district, as to the part in the south half of Bowie County would be if you had this 19-county groundwater district, and that's what they're trying to create. Everything in northeast Texas that don't have one, okay? But as to Bowie County, they would take directives from the majority of what's already existed in GMA 11. And then in vice versa, the north part in GMA 8, you've got 11 groundwater districts, okay? And they go all the way to Waco. Now, I don't know how many of you know people real well in Waco, but the people in Waco and Clinton County would be telling you what to do here with your groundwater, if you had one. So it is nothing close to local control. It is a regional planning, control, goal, things that we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it, okay? And I'm going over the things that people say that are for one, and they always wanna say it's local control. Well, you can throw local control out the window. That's covered. Oh, let me get finished, and we can ask questions.
I'm gonna ask you a question. They're selling this to us here as a way to control the data center.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get there.
Sorry.
Okay, I got a lot to cover.
Sorry.
Okay. The 36.108, I'm not treating you like a school teacher.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm a school teacher. I'm a school teacher.
He knows better.
I'm just
Is
here.
there a paddle in here?
Everything's true.
36.108 is the joint planning. And then if you say, well, a district can go out and do what it wants to, you know, come out and go road and just do what it wants to. But that's covered in 36.303. I hope y'all are writing this down. But there's 11 of them in GMA 8 and 4 in GMA 11. Basically, a groundwater district limits your rights in your water well and can charge you a fee for your water that you've been getting for free if you have a non-exempt well. And then you gotta ask yourself, can you define a non-exempt well? Okay. An exempt well is less than 17.3611 gallons open flow per minute.
How much?
17.3611 per minute and under. Open flow, that means no pressure tank. So if they can turn it on and however many seconds it runs, and if you're north of that number, you have a non-exempt well. And if you have under that number, you have an exempt well. Okay? Now, if you're at a business, okay, and I gave Zach an example of a cemetery, and they wanted a water well in Panola County to wash off the covering they had, a little building they had that the family sat under at the cemetery when they brought the casket out and unloaded it off the back of the hearse, and they had the chairs set up. Well, dirt daubers and walk, and then birds get up under there and roost during the week, and maybe it's been a week since they had a funeral, and they wanted to wash off the bird manure off the concrete with the water well. Now, they wasn't trying to water the grass, okay? They were trying to wash up the deal the day before the funeral. Okay, well, they had a well that was under 17.3611 gallons, so they had an exempt well on the flow, but because it was a business, they had to put in a water meter that cost an additional $600 for a 1-inch brass meter, and then file quarterly reports. Now, if you're late on a quarterly report, it's $10,000 per day fine. Each day is a separate offense. And they got one of my friends in Panola County for filing late, and they charged him $37,000. Okay, part of it was lawyer fees because they had to sue him in district court in the courthouse. And his way out of it was filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Okay? Now that's what you're getting yourself into when you have one of these things. Okay? And I'm sure that scares the crap out of you when you hear stuff like that. And you wouldn't even want to trust putting the report in the mail with how poor the mail is now. Because to mail a letter from Longview to Marshall is about 9 days or 11 days. It goes to Shreveport first. Okay? Let's talk about the fees. Okay? I hope y'all are writing. I don't want you to miss a thing. The fees are explained on in-district use in 36205C. 36205C. Ag use, for like if you had chicken houses, or you were watering a hay meadow, you know, irrigating a hay meadow, or a well that just cattle were drinking out of, and your well produces over 17.3611, which makes it non-exempt, is $1 per acre foot per year. Okay? Now, you gotta ask yourself, how many gallons is in an acre foot? Okay? 325,851 less about a spoonful. Now, the charge is almost nothing, but now you're paying for something you used to get for free. So if you've got 10 chicken houses and 5 wells to support those 10 chicken houses, because you cannot support your 10 chicken houses with one well, because if that well goes down, you're out of water. Okay, so you gotta have your primary well and multiple backups you can turn on in case lightning or the pump goes out or some problem. Okay. 0.003068 cents per 1,000 gallons. Well, it's not much of a charge. And I don't know if I've alluded to the fact that the people promoting this think that they're going to support it on fees and without property taxes. We're going to make a big deal out of that. Okay, all other uses like a city or a community groundwater-based water well system that's got customers for 25 miles down the road, the people with meters in front of their house, okay? They certainly have wells that are way north of 17.3611 gallons per minute. They typically have several wells that are above 250 or 300 gallons per minute. Okay, because they cannot have one primary well only. And I talked to a friend of mine in Harlton, and he's the general manager for the Harlton water supply company that's got customers 25 miles in all directions. They've got 3 wells. All of them are down in the creek bottom. They're up out of the floodplain, barely. Okay, they're all within 5 or 6 miles of the elevated tank that sets up on top of a hill that sets up on about a 150-foot platform. Okay, that gives us the pressure. Okay, and they pump from the well down in the creek bottom 5 miles away to the elevated tank. Okay, that charge for something like that is $10 an acre foot. That ends up to be 0.33 cents, a little over 3 cents per 1,000 gallons. Okay, now this will add a little bit to these people's water bill. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. And remember, the people that's promoting this is saying they're going to support it with fees. This blows a hole in that, what I'm telling you. Okay? I asked him, I said, what is the year-round average of all the people on your system? How much water well water do they use in a month? And he looked that up and queried that, and it was 4,200 gallons a month. I said, how much water well water do you use when it's dry, like this past month, and maybe people are watering their yards and their gardens and their flowers? And he looked that up, what last month's was, and it was 6,200 gallons per month, per minute. Okay? So that's, if the people in Harrison County and Harlton are using that, I would expect that average pretty much holds anywhere in the 19 counties. Something reasonably close to that for people that's just got a meter in front of their house, and that's what they're drinking, and that's what they're washing clothes with, and that's what they're bathing in, and that's what they're watering their grass with. Okay? And the amount of money that makes for the groundwater district per meter on the average is not quite 13 cents. But 1,700 meters at 13 cents. And Zach, how much money did we calculate that was? $220?
$221, I think we came up with.
Okay, so that means maybe a sixth of Harrison County, what he's got, would contribute $221 a month. Now tell me how you're gonna run a new government business that wants a building, 5 or 6 trucks, 6 or 7 employees, and we've got retirement, and we've got medical, and we've got insurance on the building, we got insurance on the trucks, okay? Tell me how that works. And they charge like $125 to drill a new water well for an application fee. Where's the money? It's not there. That's why this will turn into a property tax. And when it turns into a property tax, and it gets the people in town that's on city water, that's drinking lake water, and bathing in lake water that's been treated. A property tax for everybody. It cannot be run on fees. Not at 13 cents a meter. Now, is that revealing to you? And I don't know how much you've heard people that's promoting this. Who's promoting it the biggest is the Cass County judge. Does anybody know him?
Yeah.
Okay, I called him about 4 times, about a month ago. He won't return my call. That's not very satisfactory to me. That's showing a total disrespect for me. And I do pay property taxes a little bit at the Cass County, what Craig and I own in Cass County, my friend Craig here. And I'm not a citizen and I'm not a voter of Cass County, but I called the man, and I called 4 times over 10 days to his county judge office. And I can be nice when I need to be, very often, but I said, would you return my call? I'd like to talk to you about this. I ain't got a return call yet. Maybe I'll get one tomorrow, somebody can tell me. Okay. Export fees. Let's talk about export fees. Water carried outside the district. That's a lot more money, okay, to the groundwater district. That's income. That's a fair amount of income to the groundwater district. And it's being promoted where I live in Harrison County by my county judge and the commissioners. And I went up there and roasted them. They talked about it about 2 months ago. And I'm real good at turning up the heat and the volume in a meeting. $65.17 per acre foot, which is 20 cents per acre foot. It escalates what that would start out at 20 cents. The second year would be 20 cents, 0.6. And I suppose, I don't know if you would compound that or not, I don't know how that's figured. But you could say you're adding 6/10 of 1 penny. 6/10, not 6%, 6/10 of 1 penny every year to the export fee. And the maximum permit you can get for the export fee is the term is 30 years, 30-year term agreement. Okay, so that goes up. So when you have something that's being promoted, this is gonna keep the water here and Dallas is not gonna get it. And that's what it's being promoted where I live. You pretty much put the title in charge of the hen house, garden hen house. Okay, because that's where the district employees and the district managers gonna get a bigger paycheck by being exported. Okay, the in-district use at the $10 an acre foot, which is the 3 cents. And here we are here at 20 cents. Okay, so we're 6 times over that. Okay, we're a little bit over, 6.5 times over that. And they have a real gaping loopholes in the code, and everything in chapter 36, section 122 deals with transfers out of district. And section C, subsection C says that they can't treat the exporter any different on the flowage pumping rate or the distance from one well or another than they do anybody in district. And then subsection O really kills it, that they can't have a rule that prohibits it from leaving the district boundaries. So I really hope you wrote that down. If you write anything down, you need to understand 36-122C and 36-122O. Okay? Can I get an amen on that? Amen. Oh, there you go. Finally. Here's another one that rubs most people wrong. Right of entry to all property at all times in 36-123. Now, I think that's gonna be daylight. It's not gonna be out there in the middle of the dark. I think that cuts out dark. Okay? But it doesn't cut out the weekend, and it doesn't cut out opening day of deer season. Okay? And it doesn't cut out any other day of deer season.
Works like a private cemetery.
What's that?
It works like a private cemetery laws.
Yeah. So they have more right to be on your property than the sheriff deputy does, which is reasonable suspicion that a crime has happened, has happened, or is about to happen. And they have more ability to get on your property than the game warden does. Because it's their job to check for compliance of all the district rules. And one of the district rules would be to check for illegal water wells that are hidden, that's under some scrap iron or some tin or the leaves or some camouflage netting or something that's hidden, right, that's beating them out of revenue. So this is about like the revenue is checking for stealing, okay? And that's all set up in 36-123. Now, they do have to announce to you when they get there. To me, that sounds like it's inside the gate. They don't have to announce to you that they're coming, okay? Now, I don't know how y'all feel about people from the government coming on your property, but some of you might have a place that you burn some old furniture and maybe some tires got thrown in there, okay? Or a battery got thrown in there, or some other burnt motor oil got thrown in there. Bodies. Or some other things got thrown in there. Okay? And since these people are from the government and they're there to help you, one of their avenues to help you to see the light might be to call the TCEQ that used to be the TNRCC. And then here they come and they saw the place where you burn the tires. Okay? And you know, it's kind of obvious when you see tires where they've been burned. And so I suppose they're going to put their lock in your chain, or they're going to ask for a combo to your gate if it opens electrically, or they're going to put their lock in your chain, or they're going to want a key or the combo to your lock. And nothing's addressed here if your horse gets out or your cattle gets out, or if they run over your dog or whatever. And that rubs people raw, and especially if you fell out with the guy, especially the field hand, and he knows you like to deer hunt, he could be out there every day saying, I'm looking for illegal water wells and I'm driving all over your place today. Tell me about your chance to get the buck, the big buck you're planning on getting with him driving around in your pickup during deer season. Now that works. Okay? That's all covered in 36-123. I went over the gaping hole in 36-122-0. I went over, we can't have more heavy restrictions on spacing or pumping regulations in 36-122C. Oh, another thing is there's no sunset provision in chapter 36 for a second vote by the citizens. Okay? There's no sunset provision. So we can't say later hey, we screwed up voting for this thing, and we want a sunset. We want to kill it. We want to drive the state to its heart. Once you got one, you're gonna have one till this country falls or Jesus comes back. One of the two. The 16 counties, the way the one works, where they had 3 that I went down there and helped those people, which was Sabine and St. Augustine and Shelby, which was 3 adjoining counties back in 2013, and I made a speech in each county. And it got pretty rough in Sabine County, and the county judge was there, and he wanted to argue with me. And right after the meeting, he died. Okay?
You were acquitted?
What's that?
You were acquitted?
I was in Sabine County, which is Hempfield.
You know, I just figured you got acquitted from killing the judge.
I said it got kind of heated between me and the county judge there, and he was dead by sundown the next day. He had him a heart attack and stroke after he got in the argument with me. Okay? They wanna fix it somehow. I don't know how they wanna fix it, but the one in the 3-county one was set up that it could have passed in all 3 counties. It could have failed in all 3 counties, and that's exactly what happened. It failed in all 3 counties. It could have passed in 1, or it could have passed in 2. There is no other possible scenario for it. Okay? Now, I don't know how they want to set this up, but it'll be probably, since they're from the government, they want to help you. Okay? Okay? There's no telling, but it should be, if we have an election, it should be valid in any county that it passes in, and invalid in any county that it fails in. So it might not be contiguous. It might be broken or fractured. Okay? I hope I'm doing really good at explaining this mess that we're facing. Okay? And when y'all are asking, y'all seem to be more apt to ask about the data center. Well, if they were using, in my opinion, the data center, it ought to be in outer space. I don't know if I get any amens to that. Okay, that's where it ought to be. Okay, and not where cows or timber used to be. Okay, but they probably have some regulation close to something like 1,200 foot apart spacing for the water wheel. And remember, they're buying like 800 acres. Now, they can go buy additional land, or they can go lease additional land next door to it from somebody, and they seem to have plenty of money to beat people over the head with a sack of money to get anybody to say yes, okay? And that's the way they're rolling, okay? And I do believe they're looking for dead level land. They're not looking for hilly land that changes 100 foot elevation real quick. Because all that's a lot of dirt work to get that level. So they're looking for dead level land, no pipelines, no grading. They'll tear down a house for a barn in some way. But they don't want to deal with no wells, you know, oil, gas production. And it would be better, foolproof to them if they captured all the ingress and egress rights on the oil and gas estate, where you couldn't use the surface to produce them. So it'd be better if they bought from somebody that had all the minerals in real level, hard, high ground. They don't need swampy, low ground that's mushy to fill in. So all they need to do is just gradually fill off 6 or 8 foot contour problems, you know, with a scraper. And there won't be a blade of grass out there when they get finished. It'll be covered in concrete or pavement and built. But what they can do is they can drill their water wells maybe 1,200 foot apart, and they probably have to be 150 or 100 foot off the property line, inside the property, a setting distance, okay? And then their pumping ratio per minute certainly would not go below whatever the highest permitted well already exists in the district. And so if there's one groundwater district, one groundwater-based water well supply company at 400, and most of them are at 300, 350, they couldn't push them below 400 because they can't discriminate against them. So they get well A, well B, well C, well D, all the way around the place. They get enough water that way by drilling 8 or 10 wells. So this thing is no good to stop that. But it's real good to get in your pocket and find it with your water well. And I would invite you to go look at the existing rules for a district in Lufkin and Nacogdoches. Ain't find where I've got this written down. You know, this is something big. I want you to write this down. www.pgcd.org. www.pgcd.org. It's 42 pages. And when I fought the one in Harrison County, it was 20 pages. Because I still got all my ads in the shoebox and everything that the pro side and the against side ran. And I referred to that, if you could read that 20 pages and you liked it, go vote for it. But if you read the 20 pages and you didn't like it, go vote against it. Okay? The one in Natchez, in Henderson and Anderson and Cherokee is called the Natchez and Trinity Valley Groundwater District. They've got a bigger package of proposed rules that hadn't passed yet, but they're proposed. And they're 97 pages. So there's a tremendous amount of hoops and hurdles to jump through with 97 pages. Okay. And you violate one rule, here comes the big fine. Have I convinced anybody that this might be bad? Yes.
They need it.
You see why I didn't have any trouble beating them? I would ask you to get me in front of more people, more groups in the surrounding counties. And I'm gonna furnish any of you with my notes at home. Okay? If you want anything from me, you text me to that phone number I gave you, and I will furnish you with that. I have the entire water code. And when I say entire, I'm talking about the surface water and the groundwater part. And the groundwater part is covered in chapter 36. And it begins on page 1206. And the pages are numbered, so you don't have to count them from the front, thank God. Okay? See, I'm missing. I know this is real technical. The counties in East Texas, Northeast Texas, were the ones that have been beat before, where the people actually got to vote, and these county judges and these county commissioners have come up with this convoluted plan that we're not gonna get to vote. And it's Upshur, and it was in the early 2000s. And Upshur, the vote there was 25% for and 75% against. That's Gilmer, if you don't know your town. Okay? Wood, that's Quitman, 13% for, 87% against. Harrison, where I live, where the county judge was a Democrat and you hired the vote getters to try to pass it, where he could be the groundwater district's lawyer, is the highest one on the floor. 31% for, 69% against. So basically 2-1. And Sabine, which is Hempfield, 9% for, 91% against. That's where the county judge died the next day after I was there, when I got in an argument. That's Hempfield. St. Augustine was where the guy lived that was head of the Lions Club, that was for the 3-county one down there. 11% for, 89% against. And then the one where the county clerk become the county judge, Shelby, 4.5% for, with the county judge and the 4 commissioners leading the charge on the 4, and 95.5% against. That's over 19-1. Now, all them people can't be wrong. And then I can back up anything I say. It's all in the code. But if somebody tries to lead you astray and say this is a good thing, they can believe what they want to believe, but the code says one thing, and they can say something else. I certainly don't believe there's enough income based on the fees to support one without property tax. And if they ever pass it and it starts out with fees, in 2 years, they go back to the legislature and says, we got to have property tax, we don't have enough money. And once we get one, we can't back out of one because there is no sunset provision. And for a second vote, and said, well, you people lied to us, you said there wouldn't be a property tax. Well, it turned into a property tax for everybody. And, you know, I don't really like Republicans that raise our taxes or increase our burden and increase our load and come up with crap like this. I like one that goes the other way, that lowers the property taxes and cuts spending and looks for ways to cut out fat and waste. And that's exactly what our friend Christina Drury is doing in Smith County. That's the kind of Republican I like, one that, instead of one that wants to go the other way. Oh, if any of you talk to that Cass County judge, tell him I mentioned it tonight. And it's not nice. I've had some people say to me that a bad plan that's flawed with loopholes is better than no plan at all. Okay? That a bad plan with loopholes that's flawed is better than no plan at all. Well, what I said back to them is, I'm not a Kool-Aid drinker. And you remember about the Jim Jones, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Okay? I'm not a Kool-Aid drinker. The guy in Anderson County, which is Athens, and Anderson County, which is Palestine, and Kyle Bass, a millionaire, billionaire, whatever he is, he's got 11,500 acres in 2 tracts. One tract's about 7,200 acres, and the rest of it's in the balance. The 2 counties, both of them have groundwater districts, and they both approved his permit to move the water out, okay? And it's a very heavy pumping rate. But his 42 wells across 11,500 acres met the spacing requirement. And obviously his pumping rate was at or below the highest one permitted in the district that I alluded to, that they couldn't discriminate against him. And then the neighbors got it hung up in a lawsuit right now, saying I'm gonna be damaged. And until that gets behind him, he can't fully go. It's my opinion in the end, he will have his way, because he has complied with all the rules of the existing groundwater district in each county. He is not operating in a county that has no groundwater district. Okay, and he's saying, you're denying me my private property, which is the water, my property. I've complied with all the district rules. So this ain't the vehicle to stop it. What we need is a state law, if we could get one passed, and it's a very tall hurdle, to prevent groundwater from being transferred, but something like 25 or 30 miles to a pipe, and restrict the size of the pipe to something less than probably a foot or 10 inches. Because that's where most of the groundwater is used here that we're used to seeing, is in pipes that are less than a foot or 10 inches. And I think that most groundwater supply companies are operating in mostly 6-inch diameter pipes out down the end. They may be in bigger pipes right close to the elevated tank, where they can get that volume moving forward to the end of it, okay? But the distribution, the mass distribution is probably in 6-inch diameter pipe. What this guy's doing, Kyle Bass is doing, is he's routing his lines out of his water wells, and as he gets closer to the major pipeline that's coming out of Lake Palestine, that's going to Lake Richland Chambers, where Dallas is bringing it out of Richland Chambers into that. He's mixing his groundwater in with lake water. And if we had a law, we could prohibit that. Okay, his pipes are getting bigger on the other end. they might come out of his wells at 8 or 10 inches, and before they go into the bigger pipe, they may be in an 18-inch diameter pipe. So his is just inverted going the other way. Now, give me your question.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
obviously,
I'm at the edge of death, and I need to figure them out.
Roger that. I'm too pretty to be an expert, so I appreciate your being an expert here.
I'm not a water expert, I'm one of those code experts.
I understand, but I'd like your comment on my perspective and opinion. I've done some research as well. Many of the people that are against data centers believe a groundwater conservation district will help protect us, save that water. But if they're using water at the volumes we think they are, we're talking about major aquifer. And aquifer, I believe from reading the code, aquifers are still handled by the TWDB and not groundwater conservation districts.
Well, the production end of it in a groundwater district is handled by the groundwater district.
But it's controlled by the TWDB.
They may control what they control, but the local groundwater district is going to control the flow and the well space, the volume of the flow coming out of the well and the well space.
Well, I was hoping it was gonna be kind of a moot point for us to have a groundwater conservation district if they didn't actually control the water. You're saying they do actually control the output.
Well, y'all may be too late if they've already bought their property and clearing it. I don't know what stage they're at, I have not seen it, okay? I've seen the one in Cattle Parish that's on the south side of Cattle Lake, and it's in Louisiana. And the road is half in Texas and half in Louisiana, so it's a state line road between Harrison County and Cattle Parish. Okay, so I've driven there, and I suppose that when I was in the northbound lane, I was in Louisiana, and when I was in the southbound lane, I was in Texas. Okay? So all of it's in Louisiana, okay? And they're out there with scrapers right now, scraping and making sure that it's practically dead level or almost no drop.
Well, they're logging the Black Mountain Park, but the part that other several hundred acres that Hooks is doing, there's been no construction or logging yet.
Yeah. But they got,
That's been-
but what a groundwater district would be able to control is their well spacing, okay, their set-in distances, and their volume of their flow coming out of each well, okay? And the top end of most of the well pumps are about 20 horsepower, okay? 15 and 20 is pretty common for a water well based supply company to have. That's at 300, 400 gallons a minute. Okay, I have 2 wells on my place. I got one that's got a 5 horsepower pump in it that I can irrigate a hay matter with, and it makes 80 gallons a minute. And then I have the one that I live on for my house, and these 2 are about 3/4 of a mile apart, and it's 10 gallons a minute. So my 10 gallon a minute well would be under the 17.36 and be an exempt well. Okay. The other one fits the bill for ag use, and I'd actually have to pay for that. But I'd still have to let the groundwater district on all of my property. And that would be even during deer season. And that's a big deal with me.
Could be an accident.
There could be an accident, but you know, I'd get nailed if I did anything wrong. I spit on the sidewalk in Market if I did. Yes, sir.
So you might get taxed on the water that you take out of the ground, correct?
No, you get charged.
Charged,
You get property tax on your tax.
Charged for the water that you take out of the ground.
Anything over 17.3611 gallons per minute.
So you're gonna get charged for water that you take out of the ground that's gonna go back into the ground where you took it, is that correct?
That's right.
So it's just a fee on circulation.
That's right. That's right. And it's strictly because your well is over 17.36.
But putting the water back when you're done with it.
It's going through your septic system, if it's in your house, and it's going back into the ground. But you still get charged if you had a well at your house, instead of having a 1/2 horsepower pump on it, maybe you had a 1 or 1.5, and the water table was high, where they don't, if the well doesn't have to lift it this far, okay? And your flow, say your flow ends up to be 19 gallons a minute, you'd have a non-exempt well.
Well, that sounds like a nice racket for somebody.
It is.
It is. Get you a government job. Yes, sir.
Our commissioner's court has already voted to pursue the groundwater.
Oh, let me tell you what I think they're doing with the money, okay? I suppose most all of you are hardcore Republicans, or you wouldn't be down here tonight. But one of our 8 priorities is no, taxpayer-funded lobbying, okay? The lawyers that they're paying the $1,200 a month to is 4 blocks from the state capitol of Congress in Austin, okay? I'm pretty sure that a fair amount of that money will end up in legislators' pocket and state senator pockets that try to influence them to change something like we don't get to vote. So what we're doing is, I don't have any way of proving it, okay? And I've talked to several people about it, and it's pretty logical that that's where the money's going from, because remember, our bill for Harrison County back in 2010 was a half page, SB 726, half page typed up. Some secretary, Brian Hughes or Kevin Elcott come up with in 30 minutes. Okay, that's bound to be where the money's going to, some slush fund deal.
Yeah, I was the lawyer, and I'm from Titus County. Titus, I don't know if it's 30 or
That's Mount
40,
Pleasant.
yeah. And the lawyer is a registered lobbyist.
Okay. Well, that's pretty bad. Okay.
And I thought
That's the
too,
slanted law form.
with the amount of counties,
19 counties is putting $1,200 a month into a fund. It goes on to about the middle of the session next year. We're looking at about $175,000 in a pile of money. Now, I don't know how much that the lawyer's getting, he's getting some of it, but I think the rest of it, well, that's, I think what's going on is taxpayer funded lobbying.
I think there may be some in the
I
room.
just don't have the way for this.
There may be some in the room that don't know about that money. So what David was talking about, 2 weeks ago, they voted to pay into this organization to build this thing using the lawyer. In the next order of business.
A month, not a year, a month.
I think it's closer, I think it was actually at closer to 13 is what they decided there, and it could change based on how many counties there are. But the next order of business was to appoint the county judge to assist in that whole thing. So, I don't know how many people from Bowie County understood all that.
How many elected officials we got in here tonight? We got anybody?
What's kind of
Do
the.
we have a county commissioner or mayor or anybody? Got anybody?
pictures.
Nope. Maybe y'all throw all of them out.
They wouldn't want to hear what you.
Did you have a talk with our county judge like you did with?
I'm real good at throwing people out of office. Throw a bunch of them out of office.
Don't be reelected.
I really got more respect for a girl working her color.
Ronald Reagan said politics is the second oldest profession, and it's come to me that it bears a striking resemblance to the oldest.
Well, you got some more questions for me. Does anybody want to text me their email address and I'll send you my speech notes or the whole code?
Young man,
You send me a text and I got your email and I'll send it to you.
You were talking about the sunset situation.
I can't see you anymore when you're between me. I'm practically deaf.
Would it, I'm not up on this part of the law, would it require a simple bill at a sunset clause, or would that be a constitutional?
No, that would be a whole complete change, to chapter 36 to have the sunset provision put in chapter 36.
And that's what I'm asking, is that a simple,
Simple amendment to the bill,
not a constitutional?
not a constitutional amendment.
as somebody,
Yes, sir, Fred?
How are they getting around us not being able to vote on?
That's just what they're saying, okay? And I tied into this county commissioner in this other county when he told me, we can't afford the public to vote on it because you will rip it to shreds. And my
Will
name,
mess everything up.
my name comes up everywhere with all kinds of adjectives tied to it. What's that?
How do they how they the voters?
They would have to change that to 36, because in 36.011 up to 36.021 is how one is done. Now, in the area that's a priority groundwater management area, they can put one in without having a vote. Okay? They can put one in without having a vote. And one of the areas that's in a priority groundwater management area is Dallas County. They do not have one. Okay? But we're not in one, and they have studied parts of our area before, and they said, y'all don't need one. Groundwater is very big in supply out there. And so where you have a priority groundwater management area is where groundwater is extremely scarce. And if you had a water well man come out, let me get something to drink. He might not find water. Okay? And you can see the closest place to here is Fanning County on the map. I hope y'all got your money's worth, man. I tried hard.
You did good.
I want you to correct my ignorance, okay? I'm hearing all of this. And this groundwater is originally in the ground.
It's what?
This groundwater is originally in the ground?
It's water well water, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Okay, simply put.
So,
You own it. You own it.
so in other words, God's water is, being handled by crooked folks. Period.
Well,
No.
politicians come with crooked folks in it. And, you know, one of them that we had a long time ago in our neighboring state, Louisiana, was Edwin Edwards. And if you might remember his opening day when he got elected in '76, and he has an initial press conference, he said, I like the women, the gambling, and the whiskey. Now, what else do you want to talk about?
Taylor just said,
Well, I just wanna say that, Cole County is the one pushing this, and he is not to be trusted.
Well, he's not one of my favorites. I can't hear you. Okay, okay. And I have Jay Dean, and I would rank Cole a little bit better than Jay Dean. But Jay Dean is right at the bottom of the barrel, okay? And, I don't know if I can say it next Sunday, but I wouldn't be in his ears to bring him.
I want to say, young man, I want to say thank you for being a stronger trumpeter.
So thanks, ma'am.
No, God has placed you to do this, and don't back up.
I ain't gonna back up.
And you're protected. You got angels around you 24/7. I want you to study Psalms
Thank you.
94.
Pray for me. Pray for me.
I want you to study Psalms 94 and amplify.
Okay.
And
I've had a lot of problems lately. In the last 10 days, I fell out of the tractor and my feet was about that high off the ground. My back was killing me right now. Okay. And then I had a bad dream one night, about 3 nights later, with the hurt back. And a German was trying to stab me in a German uniform with a bayonet. And I had him by the neck. I was squeezing. And I come out of the bed and brought all the covers with me. And knocked me cuckoo when I hit the ground. I didn't even have enough sense to call out to my wife to come over and help me get up. It took about 10 minutes to get out of the floor. And then the next night, 2 spiders bit me on the leg. I got 2 spots on my leg that were oozing. A big red whip about that big around. One by my knee and one up here by my head. Right. I think I'm in.
don't run out, promise not. All right, Paul's got an announcement. Paul, is there anything cool happening soon?
Something very cool. It's not soon, it's 2 months.
2 months.
2 months means it will be cooler. I believe. Thank the Lord. I think it's 100 today or something like that.
Global warming.
But October the 17th, let me tell you about my property. Every year, we have the Wise family for Thanksgiving, and we have the Hale family for Christmas. And This year, I'm opening up my property. It's, the property that's right across the road from my house in Queen City. It's 151 acres. And we're gonna do a big event there. And I'm gonna have family, friends, and my Texas Republican friends across the state of Texas is gonna be the theme of it. I have 2 speakers lined up right now. This is not gonna be one where you're gonna be solicited for fundraising. That was my theme in the SREC. I didn't go around asking people for money. And I'm not that day. But we will have several candidates that we're focusing on. That will be the Saturday before early voting starts. And as you've heard, we have people like James Talarico.
He's good.
And we desperately need to defeat that guy.
Yeah.
And a few more, but.
Is there gonna be events? You have like knife throwing?
No, we won't. But you will be fed well, and there is no fee, and there will be no
That's my favorite
fundraising.
kind of food.
You can always give anytime you want to, so we don't have to call that a fundraiser, so.
You got an address and a time.
Oh, he can do it. We'll get that later.
I just done it because I was here. I was gonna make the announcement 2 months before, which is a few days from now, but I'm going to give you their email address because I'm here. I will get further information. I will give it to Steve. And so if I'm not back here on the time in, I'll send all the pertinent details to Steve. And I'm looking forward to it. Good to be here tonight, Joe.
Yay for free food.
I need to get in more groups in local counties up here.
What are you doing?
I'm just waiting for the prayer.
Oh, we'll stand up. We're gonna pray. Lord, we thank you for Fuzzy. We thank you, Father, that you've given him this voice, that you have given him this passion. We thank you, Father, that you have you've anointed him for this. And so we just, right now, we all come together and join together to declare healing over his body, that his back would be healed, his spider bites be healed, no more nightmares. And Lord, that you would just amplify his voice. You would help every one of us to think of somebody that he can come see, that he can come talk to, and he can explain this to, because it's being sold to us like it's going to be a wonderful thing, and it sounds like it's going to be worse than we imagined. So we pray that you bless him in everything that he does and everywhere he goes. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So text him, if you wrote down his phone number, text him his email address, your name too, so he'll know you. Text him your name and your email address, and he'll send you the
You like that? You like all that?